Hey, so I'm so sorry. Somebody let me know that I had left out a few slides, uh, and they were correct, and it was about adolescence. So I wanted to add those in real quick so that you can get your blanks filled in. But the slide that you got through was like needs during adolescence, and then I jumped right to suicide. But there were a couple other blanks in there. So, eating disorders, and so anyway, we can look at those because I think that's super important for you guys since this is during your stage of life, and especially since these are a lot of the issues that if you work in pediatrics and adolescents that you will see. And we are starting to see these younger and younger, not just, whereas it used to be kind of 13 and up, we are starting to see these younger, these issues, okay? So eating disorders, these usually develop from an excessive concern for appearance, which is why they are more common in females. But then a lot of times when it becomes pathological, it's because it's usually related to control. And so it's not like they have a conscious thought of everything in my life is out of control, so I'm going to control what I eat. No, that's not really a conscious thought. What it really stems from is, how many times do you feel out of control? We all feel out of control, but especially in adolescence when things are changing, you may feel out of control. And so this is just how it presents itself, is by, pathologically counting calories or carbs or whatever. So the two types of eating disorders are anorexia nervosa or bulimia. And anorexia is just a total, lack of eating or extreme controlling of calories and eating and that kind of stuff. Whereas bulimia is more eating and then vomiting or overuse of laxatives. This is more common in females, and it usually takes psychological or psychiatric intervention is going to be needed to treat either of these conditions. So I'm laughing because I can hear my children screaming. But either of these conditions usually takes psychological and psychiatric intervention. All right, so chemical abuse. This would be the use of alcohol or drugs, and that with the development of a physical or mental dependence on the chemical. So this could be, alcohol or a drug, and it could be a prescription drug that's being misused, or maybe a prescription drug for someone else, like an ADHD medicine that's not prescribed for you, but you or someone ends up taking it. This can begin at any life stage, but frequently it does begin in adolescence. And the bad thing about beginning it in adolescence is it almost always leads to addiction. And the reason is because adolescence is the time period where people are supposed to be learning how to deal with the stresses of life the right way, the healthy way, with brain development and emotional maturity and all those things. But if they end up turning to a substance specifically during adolescence, then they really don't learn those skills, and so their brain really misses out on that. And so sometimes there's really just like no going back. They may struggle with addiction the rest of their life. So a lot of people, and you will absolutely come in contact in any area of healthcare with drug and alcohol abuse. Even every single time I'm at the hospital, I encounter a woman who has used some type of substance, and maybe they're on a drug to get off the substance. Maybe they were an opioid abuser or heroin abuser or something like that, and then they got off the drug with the help of another drug that's a prescription. They're trying to get their life together, but then they can't get off that one either, so the baby's born addicted, and so it's just a mess. So anyway, try to stay away, not try, do stay away from any type of chemical abuse in adolescence because it can also lead to physical and mental disorders and diseases. Psychiatric illnesses, a lot of them are caused by, people just different ones are caused by different things, but there is definitely a link between mental disorders and drug and alcohol abuse at a young age. So our treatment is going to be toward total rehabilitation. All right, why do teenagers use chemicals? Why do they seek out chemicals? Why does anybody use chemicals, but specifically teenagers? I mean, they're trying to relieve stress or anxiety. That's one reason. But these 2 bullet points should really be switched. I think peer pressure is, or just wanting to have fun. I think that is how it starts a lot of times, seeking that instant gratification. Just looking to have a good time, wanting to do something fun, wanting to try something, being experimentation, all of those things. And then it can turn into, oh, well, that was fun, so I'm going to do it again. And then it turns into, oh, well, I don't really necessarily want to do it, but now I feel like I have to do it. So those are all reasons that people end up trying chemicals and then possibly becoming addicted to different chemicals. There are hereditary traits and cultural influences involved. If you have drug and alcohol addiction in your family, it would be very wise for you to steer clear of that, even at the experimentation mode, because there can definitely be some genetic traits with that. So I think that's it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me a text or shoot me an email or send me something through Remind. But anyway, this should finish up the notes, and you may hit submit when you are finished. Thank you. Have a good night.